Hey y'all, welcome to Art of the Budget. My name's Nicole, my pronouns are she and her, and this is my plant tour. I was inspired by Debt-Free D, who shared about her succulent collection, and I wanted to share my plant collection. And I thought it would be a good time to do it because we're about to go into winter, and I think some of these things will do fine over the winter, but some are going to probably die back a little, so I wanted to just capture them in their glory. If you're new here, I'm an artist and educator currently budgeting, saving, and planning for retirement and sharing what I learned along the way. So yeah, let's check out my plants. So this is my plant journal. It was decorated by my friend Dory, and in it I just keep a kind of record of all the plants I have, and then I keep a little bit of information about how to care for them. Sometimes I've done little drawings, like this is when I first got this plant. This is more recently. I do a little progress reporting, nothing too intense. These are some of my very favorites. This is my prayer plant collection, and right here I've got a red prayer plant, a green prayer plant. They're both the Maranta family, I think. And then over here I've got a Caletheia medallion, and she's quite a beauty. I found her at the grocery store, and all of her leaves looked like this. Her soil was all dried up, but since I've had her, she's put off a lot of new growth, and you can see right now she has 2 brand new leaves coming up. So I'm hoping she'll get bigger. I should actually repot her before we get too deep into winter, I think. Not a plant expert by any means. I just like plants a lot. This is my green prayer plant, which is kind of overflowing the pot. I need to maybe think about splitting this up a little bit. I've noticed some of her new growth is very small. So if anyone has any advice, let me know. And this is my beautiful red Maranta. I definitely do not use distilled water. So some people recommend using distilled water for prayer plants. It does keep them from getting these like crispy tips, but I'm just like not gonna buy water in a plastic bottle for my plants. I do put water in a jar and let it sit uncovered overnight so the chlorine can dissipate, but like I'm not willing to buy special water for them, even though I love them. I've got one more prayer plant in this family. One more plant in this family, and that's my miniature prayer plant. So she's real beautiful. She's a lot of crispy tips, so I'm trying to be a little more careful with her watering. It's a little harder for me to see new growth on this one, so I think this one is doing okay, but we'll see. I got her this summer at the plant farm in Spokane. Moving on to the bathroom, this is my staghorn fern, and I tried to bring a light in here because it's very dark in here, so I only have this one plant. I might need to move it because it does not seem to be doing super well. This is a staghorn fern. I also got this at the plant farm in Spokane this summer, and then I mounted it onto this piece of wood with some sheet moss and some sphagnum moss. And this probably looks familiar. This is where I usually film. So over here we've got a pothos, or a devil's ivy, and this is a cutting from a friend, and it's doing really well. It's growing a lot. Over here I've got my bird of paradise. This big tall leaf here was new since I got it. It doesn't seem to have any new leaves at the moment, but we'll see. It's definitely getting taller and bigger. It was in like a little 4-inch pot when I got it. This is a parlor palm. I once again repotted it into this terracotta pot, hoping that that will keep it from getting too like soggy inside. But it's a cute little plant. Down here I've got my rubber tree. I also bought this little 4-inch pot, so it's definitely growing and doing pretty well. I've got a new leaf coming in right there. This glorious beast is kind of hard to get fully in the frame. It's a yucca plant that I got from a garage sale. It was one of my very first house plants. And down there's just a little tuft of grass that I've just been watering. I just think it's funny. This has definitely grown up to touch the ceiling since I got it, and so I'll probably need to change its little setup soon, but it's doing really pretty well, I think. And then up here I have another pothos cutting. Bring this down here. This is from my coworker's plant at work. It's a variegated pothos. It's a little on the dark side here. This is a snake plant. I got this from the same garage sale as the yucca plant, and it's actually gotten a lot of growth since I got it. But out here I have another pothos. I just repotted this one. This is a dark green variegated. I don't know any more than that, but this actually was given to me by my coworker. I had an exhibition a while back, and he and his husband brought this for me in a small pot. It's been doing well, so I just repotted it into a slightly larger pot. So now we're in the area where my fridge is and where my like coffee station is. And this is Pilea peperomoides. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. You can see some pretty good new growth coming in. This is a pot that a friend of mine made. And this is a little baby peperomoides that I'm hoping will survive. I repotted it and it had a couple babies, and so I tried to just save them, but we'll see how that goes. Here is a big spider plant with tons of babies. This is also from the garage sale where I got the yucca and the snake plant, and she's been doing really well. She's spawned a lot of babies that have done great. I'm gonna bring these all down to show you. All right, just ignore my soda stream. So this like silver leaf beauty is not doing well. I got this in a little teeny tiny like 2-inch pot, and it grew quite a bit and was doing well over the summer, but just does not seem to be like surviving the cooler temperatures. It took me a lot of looking to figure out what this is. It's a type of Pilea, I believe, and it's really beautiful. I'm not sure if you're quite getting the silveriness of the leaves, but I'm really hoping it survives the winter because I do really love it. Here's another beauty that I got, again, in just those little 2-inch pots. It took me a little bit to figure out what it was. It's called a Persian shield, and I don't think the light is really allowing you to see that there's these like bright purple lines in the leaves. This is another one that was doing well. It really grew a lot from that 2-inch pot, but now seems to not be doing great. I don't know if it's the cooler temperatures, if I didn't feed it enough, or I fed it too much, but I'm really hoping it will survive. Maybe you can kind of see the purple here. I'm hoping it will survive. It does seem to have a little bit of new growth, so I'm hopeful. All right, this is the polka dot plant. I had one, again, this came from a little tiny 2-inch pot. I'm usually, with these more like fragile leafy plants, I usually just get them when they're in those tiny 2-inch pots, and I just don't feel like they're as hardy as the other plants or something. So anyway, I got this from a little 2-inch plant, and this was like a year ago, and it really like struggled all winter. And then over the summer, this piece of it just went crazy. It was just a little stem that like languished all winter, and then this just went crazy and grew all these extra parts and all these extra leaves. So I took a few cuttings from it, and I also got another 2-inch pot from like the grocery store. And I put them in, and I'm trying to fill it out. I think it's just not quite sunny enough for it here, but I'm just gonna keep trying. Okay, so finally, I've got my air plants. This is one that was given to me as a gift from a good friend, my friend Liz. These two I got in Portland at this cute store, and then these little holders, I made them. And I know the light's pretty bad here because we're like going against the window light. But yeah, those are my little air plants. I give them a spritz as often as I can remember. Every once in a while I give them like an overnight bath like you're supposed to, but I do that pretty rarely. But this one seems to have like survived for a long time. I've had it for years. And these two I've just had for like, I got them in the summer. Here we are in the kitchen, and I've got another little snake plant, a different variety. It's a little bit has a broader leaf and just some more color. So yeah, seems to be doing okay. It had this kind of crispy leaf when I got it, but otherwise it seems to be getting some new growth and doing well. This is in the corner of my kitchen, so the lighting is pretty bad. Snake plants seem to do okay with low lighting, but I do often move them outside during the summer. Okay, so this is going to be hard to light, and I really can't look down because dirty dishes. Okay, so this is a peperomia. I think it's obtusifolia. I could be wrong. This was another little 2-inch pot that's been doing pretty well, growing pretty good. It has some new growth coming in. I've got a spider plant that's like looking a little weak. This was a baby from the spider plant I showed you before in a pot made by an old friend of mine. Right here, I'm gonna move this. I've got a cutting from my red prayer plant or the Maranta in this little hanging planter. Okay, sorry about the light. And then right here I have some kind of succulent. This was a cutting that a friend of mine gave me, and it's really just grown and blown up. It has a little baby back here. I accidentally kind of chopped this and it was like hanging really low, and I accidentally cut it, so I rooted it and planted it there, and you can see it's coming back with lots of new growth. Okay, I think that was everyone. I hope you enjoyed checking out my plants. I think I'll enjoy having a record of them in a year anyway. So yeah, let me know if you've got any of these plants at home, if there's any advice that you have. I'm definitely not a plant expert. I just like them and hope they survive in my care. So hope you're having a great day. See you later.